What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about everything PC gaming related. I'm one of your hosts. We're just going to go with our regular names tonight. My name is Jeremiah, and I am joined by Dave.
I'm Dave.
James. And Job.
Hi, everybody.
Gob, the amazing magician. It's Job.
It's, of course, Mark.
Illusions, Michael.
Who couldn't be bothered to have a webcam or a picture of himself up there and instead chosen someone else. As long as you're going to have a picture, make it like Joel and make it a really creepy one. Like Joel just soulfully staring into the camera. That way everyone can feel connected to you.
That's Joel's actual Skype picture, is the soulful one. Literally, he's like creepily staring at his webcam.
Now, we're going to start the show off at the very top here. Brief reminders about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is the Battle for Novo, where Dave and I will be squaring off to fight our way to the top of the town hall in Novo and cook a steak. And
can we call this the loot grudge match?
There's no grudge match. I don't want the loot.
Well, you have your priorities out of order, sir.
It's at the top of the show. Are you saying it's all downhill from here and everyone can leave now?
Well, we haven't finished the announcement, but after that they can leave.
Good.
That's fine. Including you, Mark. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be meeting in Novo. Let's meet in the town square right by the town hall. Does that sound nice? That sounds good?
Yeah, we'll pop a flare or something to
we'll
get all
there.
the other people in the server to come kill us.
We'll be there at we'll be there right at 8 p.m. So just get there in some stable third-person regular server, and then when we send out the link, or like you guys hop in our TeamSpeak, and then we'll tell you exactly which server we're in. And you guys are welcome to come join us. Then we'll split up into teams. Brief reminders, please bring a baseball hat and a beret, if at all possible, so we can split up into teams. And please keep all the hacking and duping and cheating to an absolute minimum.
As in, stop it.
And the TeamSpeak server, we will be tweeting out a lot ahead of time. If you don't already follow us on Twitter, you are missing out your opportunity to get very few news updates each week. And you're missing out your opportunity to see the TeamSpeak address without checking one of the videos that has it in it, which is a lot of them. So you're not really missing out on a ton, but you should follow us on Twitter, because if we need to make any last-minute changes or anything, that's where we will announce them. So Casual Shenanigans, Germ Gaming, Evil Viking. All right, the news. Our first news item. We have a lot of news items that at least somewhat relate to Gamescom, because Gamescom is going on this week. Probably everyone knows about it. If you don't,
Gamescom is big this year.
Yeah, it's basically it's E3
it's
for
E3
Europe.
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
a
really
lot
big
of
this year.
really big announcements coming out, so a lot of cool things. Ultra Grunt says he has 4 baseball hats, 4 berets, a yellow construction hat, and a bright orange boonie hat. Ultra, please bring guns. That would also be good.
The battle's gonna start. Hunter's like, all right, I got my hats.
No, actually, he doesn't need to bring
them.
guns, because Daniel's going to be like, take a look in my protector case.
I am carrying, I think, 5 guns at the moment, so I'm going to pass out guns and ammo. I have 2 boxes of ammo, too. I don't care about the loot.
Anyone on Jeremiah's team is going to be sorely disappointed. I have an SKS with, I think, 5 bullets right now, so...
I've got ammo for both teams.
You and Ultra will make a really good swap there.
Hey, but you know what our advantage will be? Dave will be sitting on the hill for, 2 hours watching and waiting, and my team will actually be getting crap done.
I won't just be watching, Jeremiah. I'll be sorting all my inventory. Oh, this is out of order.
This
You got a PDR
podcast,
there, Jeremiah?
no, this podcast is brought to you by Diet Dr. Pepper, not Dr. Pepper 10, which it should be, but lo and behold, neither Costco nor the local Walmart carry Dr. Pepper 10 in cans, so sadness is me tonight. Okay. Rise of the Tomb Raider, the sequel to the reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise.
That is the best they could come up with for the name.
It's the Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider Rises.
That's the only other way they could go with that, is the Tomb Raider Rises.
I don't think we should be talking about Tomb
Okay, but
Raider
see,
and
the last-
Rising anything in the same
Why?
sentence here.
Why?
Let's just move on.
Okay, so...
Dave just started playing, so he's new to the whole Tomb Raider thing.
Okay, but,
I am playing actually the last one from last year, so I got it for $5.
it's a good game. The last one was a really good game. Very
Is he
enjoyable.
giving you Rise?
All right, and we're moving on.
There it is.
The Pants 10 Rises.
The what rises?
The Pants 10.
Oh.
So subtle.
So anyway, it was a reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, and spoilers, Dave, at the end of the game, she kind of fully becomes Tomb Raider. Like, throughout the game, she's mostly just a scared young woman being beaten to death by the game designers. But towards the end, she, I don't know, gains some of that confidence we're looking for, and you feel like, hey, she might just make
she
it.
becomes a man. She started out as a little boy, and she becomes a man.
It's not the most nuanced character, let's be honest.
I would say that they bloodied her pretty good in the game. I'm only like a few hours in, but it's a lot more than blood. Like she lands on like a piece of wrought iron like 5 minutes into the game. It like stabs her all the way through.
The only thing I don't like about her characterization in the game is, like a lot of women and things, her character progression is basically just crying, screaming, running, and suffering up until the switch flips, and then she's like, and it's clobbering time. And then she's just great from then on. So, I don't know. But anyway, there's a new Tomb Raider coming out. The first Tomb Raider was a big success, and Rise of the Tomb Raider drew a little bit of ire from people when it was announced it was going to be an Xbox One exclusive, and a lot of people were like, wait, they said that the last game didn't sell as well as they thought, so the obvious solution was let's put it on one platform, and not
also,
just
everyone
that.
who
The
immediately
platform
ran
that
out.
has sold the fewest.
Yeah. Everyone who ran out immediately on hearing that to buy an Xbox One, please raise your hands right now.
I don't think anyone did that.
Anybody? No? Oh, that was unexpected.
So, as it turns out, lo and behold, unknown to anyone before now, except almost everyone thought this was the case, it's a timed exclusive. So, exclusive means when it actually comes out, not forever, just like most games are. Just like, it's so great watching press conferences where they have to dance around saying, this game is not just on this platform. Like, enjoy Call of Duty, the best experience on the Xbox One this fall. Also coming out on everything else.
Yeah.
So, I think timed exclusives are stupid. I understand that I don't know, it's just another form of marketing. Like, I get
It's
that.
marketing weasel words is what it is. Just straight up weasel words.
I don't think it's quite as bad as having a different pre-order bonus for every different store that carries the game. But, yeah, it's, of course, another thing PC gamers don't really have to deal with. What pre-order bonuses does Steam have? None? Okay. All right, we're cool then. Let's just buy it.
Well, you heard about what Call of Duty is doing for their pre-order bonus, right?
Nope.
Which
If
one?
I see Call of Duty Advanced Warfare in a title, I click elsewhere.
You'll actually, from what I understand, I have just barely skimmed information about it. You'll be able to actually play the game early if you pre-order, like days early before everybody else. Which is just, it's the same dumb thing as Battlefield 4 Premium. Like, guys, 2 weeks early access. No, you're holding it back for everybody else for 2 weeks. There's no early access.
Pierre Sloth, you make a good point in chat, and something we ought to cover. Sometimes studios do this, yes, so they can make the game. They need a big infusion of cash from a publisher to finish the game, and then return the publisher gets it early. But so many timed exclusives are not that at all. Like when Call of Duty DLC hits one of the consoles a month ahead of time or a week ahead of time, they don't need the money. When Grand Theft Auto DLC hits one of the consoles ahead of time, they don't need the money. And I don't think Square Enix needs the extra money for Tomb Raider, especially since they just put out all the Tomb Raider games on all the platforms at the same time last year. So I don't think this is because of the money. If it was a smaller game, I might believe that, but I have no reason to believe that's the case. So, yeah. It's going to be coming to everything eventually. So, does anyone care past that?
No, I mean I'm only 2 hours into 3 hours into the one from last year, but I love the survival elements and like the kind of groundedness of the game. Plus, you're exploring like ruins for loot. It's basically my game.
So, if
Have
you think
you
it's
ever played Tomb Raider before?
Not really, no.
I was going to say, that's pretty much every Tomb Raider game.
if you think it's grounded, you haven't got to the Uncharted part yet, where you just murder like hundreds and hundreds of people. Have you gotten to that part yet?
There's hundreds of people on this little island.
They're all bad. It's fine.
Oh, but that's kind of lame. I love like the seclusion of being in the jungle and like exploring these Japanese ruins right now. That's a really cool feeling.
Well, that's how most adventure games start out. Is like it's really fun. It's in the jungle, whatever else, and then by the time the game ends, you're like fighting robots in a space station. Not this game. You know what I mean? Like
that was Far Cry. Like, ooh, spooky island, surprise, hundreds of mutants.
yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to run into town at some point, Dave. Unfortunately. You can't loot the jungle forever.
Dang it.
Or the jungle loots back. Your body, it kills you. That's where I was going with that. All right.
Your skin.
Our next news item, Metal Gear Solid 5 and the Metal Gear Solid 5 preview, The Phantom Pain, which is a dumb name, are coming to the PC. When was the last Metal Gear Solid game that was on the PC?
I can't remember.
Has there been one? The PC got ports of the first two Metal Gear Solid games. They got 1 and 2. They didn't get Snake Eater. They didn't get Guns of the Patriots, which is the best one in my opinion. Okay. And but they are getting the Phantom Pain and let's see,
Ground Zeroes.
And Ground Zeroes. Yeah, and they already got Metal Gear Rising earlier this year. So
help me out, James. Which one was on the GameCube?
Twin Snakes. That was a remake.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's the only one I've ever played, but it was a great game. I loved it.
Wait, the second one wasn't on the GameCube?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
My last console, 2002.
Yeah, I like the Metal Gear Solid series a lot. I like that they're coming to the PC. Unfortunately for Sony, that is one of the games that would make me consider getting a PS3 or PS4. Because Metal Gear Solid 4, actually, Mark, I first saw it at your house. I came over and you were playing it, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, whoa, I need to play this. And I went home, bought it.
That television.
Yeah, even on your RCA HD television. And I went home, bought it, and I think I beat it in like a week, and that's including all the super long cutscenes. I think it was like 35 hours. And it's one of the best games I've ever played, hands down. So,
did you not play any of the other ones at that point?
I hadn't at that point, but I went back and played whatever they called the edition that like adds the better camera controls into Snake Eater.
Right.
Whatever the collection was, I played the collection. I didn't finish number 1, just because at that point the control scheme was so old. I just got super frustrated and moved on. I wouldn't mind coming back to it at some point, but
did you try the Twin Snakes, or was it the actual, like, did you actually play the PlayStation 1 version?
it was probably Twin Snakes.
Oh, okay.
You should go back and play the NES versions.
Nah. No, I'm good.
Not a real fan. Not a real fan.
But I mean, are you guys excited about this coming to the PC? Or
very, actually. Yeah,
Mark,
I've been following it.
Were you planning on playing this on your PS4?
Originally. Probably not now.
Good answer.
Hey, this will probably give your 780 Ti a workout.
That's what I was thinking.
Because Metal Gear Solid 4, that was probably the best looking game I've seen on the PS3. Until maybe like Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3. But Metal Gear Solid 4 was a super good looking game. So, I don't know. Hopefully that continues. But, yeah, it's coming.
I hope I like Kiefer Sutherland.
What?
Isn't he doing the voice of Snake now?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Which is a shame. We have no release date for the Phantom Pain, so we definitely don't know when Ground Zeroes is coming, do we?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. That's fine. Next news item. Battlefield Hardline, a game I am also not excited about at all. But Dave has seen some campaign things this week, some clips from the campaign at Gamescom, and Dave is a little more excited. So, Dave, I don't want my skepticism about the game to color it, because from what I understand from people who are excited about it, it does look to be really cool. So can you walk us through what we saw for Battlefield Hardline?
Had you watched it yet? The single player footage?
Yeah, okay. I watched it.
No, I'm just comparing it to my reaction of seeing Battlefield 4's campaign. I played all of 3's campaign. It was all right. The story was interesting enough to keep me going, but the AI was terrible. Shooting was just meh. And when I saw Battlefield 4's campaign last year, I'm like, this is just more of the same. It looks exactly the same, just a little bit better graphics compared to Battlefield 3. Did not amaze me at all. But this looks actually like a different style of gameplay. At this point, we all know that Frostbite looks good. Of course, the game's going to look good. I was looking to see something different in the gameplay for sure. You're playing a cops and robbers single player, obviously. It's a little campy, like a little bit of Bad Company 2 elements, but I think it stays a little bit more towards the realism side of things, like Battlefield 4. At least they're trying for that like drama feel. But the cool part about the gameplay is all the non-lethal and stealth options, which compared to Battlefield 3 and 4's campaigns of classic shoot the cardboard, cut out enemies till they stop respawning and then move forward. Mm-hmm. That was fun to see. Like, I can't think of any other single-player game where you can tase, handcuff, pepper spray, and baton people instead of killing them. Like it's like a viable option is you can actually be a cop instead of just killing everybody, which was kind of cool. Although, of course, about halfway through, they got spotted to show the gunplay. he walks out, he stands out in front of a bunch of enemies and just stands there until they all alert. I also like the use of the badge. That was kind of cool. He just walked up to the first 2 guards at the outpost. You went offline there for a second, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I had to tweak it small settings. Back online now.
Okay. Good, he walks up to the outpost out in the desert where this criminal drug gang or whatever is at. He walks up to the two guards who like pull their rifles on him, like, "Who are you? You know, what are you doing here?" And he like pulls his badge out and he's like, you know, "LAPD, put the guns down, get on the ground." And one guy's like, "Oh man, like I'm not really affiliated with these guys. Like I don't know what's going on." And he like handcuffs him, which was kind of cool. Like it was a bit funny because you like kind of had to keep your badge and like your gun at them. Otherwise, they had like this like little bar where they would get more agitated and might shoot you.
Sounds a lot like another Cops and Robbers game that we play on a regular basis. You're describing like this amazing system that I'm pretty sure Payday 2's had for how long?
2 games now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a pretty similar system for sure, but yeah, it's just
I'm not just trying to rain on
the.
the parade. I just feel like I got to bring that up. Like you're pretty much describing Payday 2 at this point.
It's definitely got some parallels. Although you're playing as the cop, though. It's the flip side of it.
Yeah, but in gameplay, it didn't really look that much different. Like you're subduing people guarding stuff, just like in Payday 2, you're subduing people guarding stuff. You can flip who they technically work for, but
well, for me, that's a big deal. Like
Okay.
I wanted APB to be a good game so badly. I want a Cops and Robbers game. And I'm gonna be bitter about APB for like the rest of my life. I think I'm never gonna forget the atrocity that was. But I wasn't wowed by the footage, but I was impressed that it was different. It was very different from both the Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 single player walkthroughs. So everything I've seen since the beta looks like they're really trying to go back to that initial concept and make use of it, and not just be Battlefield on a smaller scale again.
right. So you're excited.
I am intrigued. I
You
think.
gonna pre-order?
No,
I'm just gonna keep checking in.
Absolutely not.
We're gonna get like 2 weeks out, and I'm just expecting there to be some announcement. And you're like,
Is that the sound I'll make? Actually, it probably would be.
What if they would send you? What if they would send? Well, you already got dog tags. What would they have to send you as a pre-order bonus for you to crack? It has to be something physical because I know how you are.
Actually, GameStop is doing. If you get a pre-order, I think they're still doing it. You get the badge with the like the main character's like badge number on it. It's like the LAPD badge. It's like in this cool little velvet box thing.
Mm-hmm. What if they sent you a replica 1911 with your gamer tag inscribed in the slide? Or grips. What if they sent you grips for your 1911 as a pre-order bonus?
You're listing a lot of things that I could buy if I wanted to for actual firearms, but don't because they're really cheesy.
All right, I'm just trying to find something that'll. Would coffee mugs work? I'm just going down your list of vices.
Wow. Actually, you covered
Engraved
guns.
tacos.
Yeah,
Engraved tacos.
You covered guns, coffee, tacos. If we added some PC parts there, we'll be good to go. No, really, there is nothing that will make me pre-order the next Battlefield outside of like a 50% discount. If it was going to be $30, I might pre-order it and take the risk. But at full price, there is no way.
All right.
I'm gonna be very careful.
Subscription to Loot Crate.
Let me do the math real quick.
What if they gave you 30 gold battle packs? 30.
I hate that word so much.
Battle pack.
Battle pack and Levolution are like trigger words for me now.
Oh, that's a new news item. Keep going. Sorry.
But just to sum it up, as far as Hardline goes, I'm going to be very carefully watching reviews because I really like where it's going. But until I see the reviews where they've like played 10 or 12 hours, not this Battlefield 4 thing of...
It's not going to be 10 or... Oh, you mean of multiplayer. I was going to say, there's no way the campaign's 10 or 12 hours long.
Because the thing about Battlefield 4 is the glaring issues didn't show up for a day or two when people were like, wait, we're getting kill trades and all these ping and netcode issues. Like at first... the game seemed pretty solid, and then after a few days, everyone's like, wait, this is like a house of cards. So yeah, I'm going to watch carefully, hope for the best, but I'm going to wait.
All right. Our next news item, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare comes out this fall, and they have taken one of the most revered aspects of Battlefield 4, and they are bringing that to Call of Duty. Yes, you're thinking correctly. Levolution is coming to Call of Duty. And
battle packs, I heard too, actually.
Fantastic. It's not called Levolution, but in the trailer, they talk, for multiplayer stuff, they talk about map-changing events, and there's a tidal wave. Does that sound familiar at all? Who on the Call of Duty development team has read anything about Battlefield 4 and thought, man, the gamers are really after that Levolution stuff. They seem to really be going for that.
But it makes such great trailers, and that's all it's good for.
If they want a good trailer, they just need to start with our netcode works, because it does. That's their whole marketing campaign.
Our netcode works in less than 8 months of patching.
Well, that's a big deal. Call of Duty works on day one. That's kind of their thing. Every game has a few little issues on launch day, but by and large, Call of Duty is a smoothly running experience on day one. That should be their entire marketing campaign. That's all they need to say. Hey, we're another one of those franchises that's gone on way too long. It's getting kind of tired, but ours works.
That won't make you sick and kill you.
Speaking of parallels between Battlefield 4 and the new Call of Duty, I heard that the new COD's going to have over 300 weapons. Is that true?
That's got to be. I have not heard that, but that's got to be like including permutations and stuff. That can't be true.
Battlefield 4 had like 100 and some weapons. Just
really?
So much bloat.
I haven't unlocked that many.
So much bloat.
Interesting. Speaking of bloat, DayZ got a new patch.
What a segue.
There are now sharpened sticks. And
they serve a purpose, though, a very cool purpose.
And there are sounds when you stab truck tires with things, but the other sounds still don't work correctly, in case you're wondering.
Actually, those don't work half the time.
There are a few tiny glitches still in this stable patch, like sometimes the player may not be able to attack at random. I think that was the number one. That was like the top line of the notes. I laughed at that one. I was like, come on, guys, figure out a better way to say that, please. Sometimes the attacking doesn't work.
It's like the Battlefield 4 glitch that you and I got back in late December, where it's like occasionally the player's WASD keys will stop responding in game. It's like, wait, what?
that was like, I've already done my rant on that for Battlefield 4. Like when the W key would stop working, it's like, come on, guys, most other games already have this down. Which is how I feel about DayZ sometimes. I'm like, I've played so many games where the character jumps when you press the button. Explain to me why in this super simulation engine they can't just have a normal jumping button. Like you press the button, go for it. Does it have to be verified by the server so you can't fly?
It's actually, that's half of it. The first part is that the current jump is a script. It's a framework for the jump system, and then it also has to be verified by the server.
Right. So how come?
Are you saying they're going to fix it?
How come Dave? How does Quake from like 2001? How did they have jumping?
It's part of the engine now. Originally, when Quake was in alpha internally and they were writing the game, they probably had a jump script that was later encoded into the engine as a feature, as a function in the engine. So what's happening here in DayZ is they have scripted a jump function that now has to be reprogrammed into the engine, which they're doing right now.
But you admit that most other games can do stuff like jumping and opening doors are not like these colossal undertakings.
Most other released games available as a retail product.
Even a lot of pre-ordered ones. Minecraft, when one dude built it and it was available as like the alphiest of alphas, jumping worked. Jumping was smooth and jumping worked.
Actually, I had a lot of problems with jumping.
There was also a lot of item persistence too.
I had a lot of problems in Minecraft with jumping. I remember the jumping patch in Minecraft actually, where they made it easier to like run up heavy slopes. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like it used to be really bad. I mean, that's a bad example in my opinion. But yeah,
the jumping did work though, so that part's good.
Some of the time
you didn't like run at a fence with zombies chasing you, smashing the button, and you get there, and then your character stops and just stands there, and you're like, jump, and he's like, one leg over.
The one that always happened to me in Minecraft,
your leg is broken.
Early on in the alpha in Minecraft, the one that always got me was where it would jump, but it wouldn't continue the forward acceleration. So you'd be like running and you just jump like straight up and down all of a sudden. I got that a whole bunch early on.
Yeah, it had issues. I'm not trying to rag on DayZ too much. It's just it's funny that. It's just funny. Some of the problems they run into, I just feel like...
The patch notes starting out with those two things are hilarious. I agree. But does it make sense like why that's happening? Do you kind of understand
I understand why it's happening. I just feel like most other games, even in development, crossed that threshold of development a long time ago. Just saying.
I just remember them showing off the jump last year at E3. That was hilarious.
Why? Because people were excited about it? Oh, no, because all the characters were running, like they jumped over the fence and everything, and people were like, how did they do that?
It was a local server.
Okay. I was gonna say,
So the server and the client were on the same local system. So it was
Gotcha.
instantaneous everything, yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, the script functions fine in a perfect world. Like if you're on a local server with no players, it would be instant. You wouldn't even notice it.
That's not my way to jump in a perfect world.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Have a LAN, a DayZ LAN of like 64 people on one server. Ooh. So every time you kill someone, you can just wait for the screams from somewhere else. Yeah, the DayZ patch. What's new in the DayZ patch, Dave?
Honestly, the patch notes for this one are huge. This is our second stable patch in 2 weeks and fifth experimental patch in 2 weeks. They are cranking out patches. And this one in particular added 2.5 new towns. The third one was not supposed to be in it at all yet, but got accidentally pushed to the update. They added persistence on, I think, all official servers now, almost all official servers on stable.
Mm-hmm.
The loot, in my opinion, is the best it's ever been balanced on experimental or stable. The amount of ammunition, firearms, and general loot is really, really good right now. I could use a little bit more tweaking, but the game reminds me a lot of the mod as far as loot balancing goes now in a very, very good way. Really big patch, and even with the player cannot attack bugs, the placeholder melee with the stupid ray cast from your cursor, where your cursor like has like a single beam that's cast from it to calculate the hitbox. Even with those issues, I think this patch is like the best one I've seen in a few months. It's lots of content and it's a lot of fun to play.
I think we are seeing the benefits of having the large staff finally. If they keep doing it this frequency, it'll be really awesome. I think it's too early to say, oh yeah, we're cranking now, because they could always put out a patch next week where loot no longer works. I mean, that's kind of par for the course. Because they've
to know about the benefits of a large staff, Jeremiah. I could have told you about them a long time ago.
Oh, I'm just remembering the good old days of standalone where everyone had an M4 and 500 bullets.
Oh yeah, that was super lame.
Berezino, like people talk about Berezino being a death trap. The Balota airfield was a better death trap than Berezino will ever be. It was like a war zone because everyone was spawning there and everyone was dying there.
Anywhere that you spawned in that first month of the alpha, you could beat a Balota in 10 minutes flat. Wherever you spawned.
It was a good system. And there was another military base, another 10 minutes away.
Like, what you would do is you could just follow the sound of M4 shots echoing through the valleys to get back to Balota. And also they fixed, in this latest patch, the camera clipping in everything. You can no longer clip your camera through walls.
As far as we know.
No one has found anything that shows it's possible in the last few days, and usually it takes like 1 hour.
That's been such a big, long problem. I'm reticent to be super excited about it. I really hope that's the case, though. Like,
Operation Flashpoint had that issue.
Bohemia. I don't know which point you're trying to prove, Dave. No. It's been broken for like a decade, guys. It's cool.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'd be amazed if it's totally fixed too, because it's been.
I hope people on
decade.
the ARMA 3 team are like, "Hey guys, can we get some of those patches, guys? Can you give us some of that tech?"
Have you been following the ARMA 3 experimental branches?
No.
Those guys and their post-launch support, they're going nuts. You know what's coming for the first time in the ARMA series?
What?
That everyone's always wanted?
A story?
Firing from vehicles.
Yes. Okay.
They're working on it
as
right
soon
now.
as that's out, I'm making a mission where we all get AKs and sit in the back of pickups and fly through the
Technicals.
valleys.
Black Hawk Down mission. It's happening.
Sweet. So anyway, DayZ patch, and we'll be. Unfortunately, like I really wish the less ammo patch had happened after the Battle for Novo, because this is going to be a lot more difficult.
I've got 2 full ammo boxes, 20 slots of ammo from before this patch. We'll be okay.
Do you want to meet up tonight, Dave?
We're going to have to. After the podcast, we have to meet up and keep gearing.
'Cause I think my most geared up person is on a first-person only server. So,
For
that
shame.
sucks.
All right. Up next is Bloodborne, which I'm guessing Mark and James know a lot more about than Dave and I.
I don't know a
request.
ton. I've only seen like the trailer. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, there's not a lot of details. But
Quick request for James. If you and Joel insist on continuing to send me console exclusive trailers, please preface them with that information so I can add them to the bottom of my queue. I'm tired of getting all excited about these things and being like, oh, yep, Exclusive. Crushes my heart, James.
It's timed. You know it. You know it'll be on PC.
It's probably timed.
All right.
I mean, even Metal
James.
Gear.
Walk us through Bloodborne. What's Bloodborne?
I don't really know that much about it. I mean, they really have.
Also, James, I think you're using your webcam mic. Sorry. You definitely do not sound like you're 1 foot away from your...
How long have we been doing this podcast?
Long enough. I think long enough is the answer. Tap your mic real quick.
Tap it?
Yeah.
No, it's not on. I can see it in the settings.
Yeah, it's most definitely not on. Did you unmute it? Did you unmute it when you moved it? This is good radio right here, guys.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
It didn't show up earlier.
It sounds
There we
good
go.
now. There's that sexy voice.
Hello, James.
All
Hi,
that
how
bass
you
is
guys
back.
doing?
All right.
All
Take
right,
us
let's
through
do this
Bloodborne.
Time to talk
Yes.
about Bloodborne, guys. Let's just talk about it right now.
Talk a little higher than earlier. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I mean, I played starting in Demon Souls and then playing the Dark Souls game. It's from the same creator, and I think it'll be in the same vein, but...
Dark Souls 2 was not from the same team that did Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and this will.
Oh, really?
That's why people are excited about it.
Wait, who made Dark Souls 2?
Just, I guess, a different division from everyone's left.
Fraudsters.
The head guy, like, I'm not sure how to say his name, Hidetaka Miyazaki or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably not it.
He had, well,
You were close. Is it-
would you like to try?
No,
Man,
I don't even know what his name is. I'm just guessing we're white, so yeah, that's probably not the correct way to say it.
Wait, no, you're giving it away. That's a major spoiler. People don't know that. He didn't have anything to do with Dark Souls 2, or not much, from what I understand. I don't know. I haven't
Same
read a lot.
company, though, right?
It is.
Okay, so I mean... okay.
Yeah, Dark Souls 2, just like, I do enjoy it, but doesn't have quite the same magic, I don't think. And it does seem a little bit like that, sort of thing that happens with the sequel, where it's like, well, we got something that works, let's like tweak a few things and put out some more, which is fine, but not preferred for me.
So it's kind of like the Call of Duty B team. Like Infinity Ward came out with Modern Warfare, and everyone was like, amazing. And the next year was like, let's go back to World War II, guys. And everyone was like, oh, okay. I mean, this is good.
World at War is still my least favorite game of all
As
the Call
it
of Duties.
should be. So what is Bloodborne? It's a game from the original Dark Souls team.
So in its setting, it feels like Transylvania. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, it looks like Dark Souls Transylvania. It's got some vampire and like gothic elements. Lots of gothic elements.
Which I like. I think it's just a really cool setting. I'm actually looking it up.
Hopefully this will like go back to having like some cooler enemy designs, like Dark Souls 2. I don't love them. Not as creative, I don't think.
Yeah, the only creative enemy designs I think I've seen in Dark Souls 2 are the Smelter. The Old King? The Smelter Demon? Whichever one looks...
Watch those spoilers.
I'm just saying names. Whichever one looks like a Balrog, I thought was pretty good. The Scorpion Lady, that was a pretty cool design. And the giant weird frogs are kind of cool, I think.
Those are lame and tame in comparison to the creatures in Dark Souls 1, I think. Or just Dark Souls. But, yeah, the trailer looks cool.
I think so. It looks a little faster than the Dark Souls and Demon Soul game. Like, it just looks a little bit more fluid.
It's possible they're playing with a really leveled up character or something, though.
Maybe.
Maybe it's towards the end of the game when you're actually able to do stuff.
He also doesn't look like he's carrying 100 pounds of armor, either.
Or 10 swords that are all really crappy that he got early on and can't do anything with, sell, or drop. I'm not bitter.
You can sell stuff, but you passed by the guy. I didn't lead you to him.
Why not? I don't know anything about this game. I'm only 25 hours in.
You seem very, like, eager to, kind of blaze through the areas and I don't know. Your playthrough was very unique, and I don't want to diminish that. I don't want to, like, actually make it just like every other Dark Souls 2 playthrough.
Where people learn and do some of the hard work on their own.
Exactly. This is the American playthrough.
I'm a good manager. What can I say?
Outsource it.
So yeah, that's Bloodborne. We'll bring you more news as we have it. probably several days later than we have it. Mod Tools, Dead Rising 3. Whose news story is this?
That is me. If you guys could just stand by for 1 second while I read my news story and then just relay it
Prep work.
with
Done
no further
all the
work.
prep work. He doesn't
should
know
probably-
crap.
We should probably cite sources in this news section, seeing we're doing no work here at all. This comes from
I did some work.
America Souls 2. Nice.
This comes from GameSpot. Dead Rising 3, I have played none of them, so there's that. Is coming to PC with full PC support and Steam integration, so advanced, higher textures, all the usual PC options, full Steam integration, and then a mod tool set, that's very surprising. Dead Rising is a very console-y series.
So wait for the open world zombie game mod for Dead Rising 3 that makes it the fun DayZ that you can kill 10,000 zombies in. It's coming.
If you guys want to play a fun game, load up Steam Greenlight right now and just search for Zombie MMO. Holy crap.
Is that just the name?
Dude, no. It's a genre started by DayZ, ripped off by the Warzy, improved by Nether and H1Z1, and now everybody wants to get on board. There are pages of zombie MMO wannabe startup games on Steam Greenlight.
Which
It's
one's the best
insane.
though? Which are the best though? Like if I wanted to play some.
I hope you're patient, because none of them are out yet. Nether's out, but it still runs like it did in alpha. I'm still getting 22 frames per second.
All right.
But yeah, just go into Steam Greenlight and just look up Zombie MMO. It's pretty hilarious.
I do think it's funny. In this GameSpot article, they say full graphics options on the Xbox One. Dead Rising 3 runs natively at 720p, 30 FPS. Gosh, so powerful.
Wait, on the one?
Yeah, on the Xbox One,
What?
720p, 30 FPS. Good job, guys. Lead the
I mean-
charge. Convince people to sell them Xbox 360s. That was a launch game, wasn't it?
Okay, open up the
It's
screenshots,
close.
Jeremiah. The game doesn't look terrible, but it does not look like it should be running at those settings on the Xbox One at all.
Nope.
Man, what went wrong?
It's a launch game. Most launch games kind of suck, to be honest. I mean,
That's true.
that's to be expected, but it's still
What's
just
the-
kind of funny.
What's the other zombie multiplayer game that they just announced that actually looked decent? Do you remember?
H1Z1?
No. It was
Actually-
like literally like a week ago.
I don't remember.
I'm going to add a news story here. Just give me 1 second to Google it. Stand by.
Stand by
This is actually
me.
related. We call this news story 7.5.
Do we have anything in there about the new Walking Dead game?
Oh, I just pasted it, James. You know me well. Have you heard about this, Jeremiah?
I have not.
The former lead dev from Payday 2 and some of his team members.
I'm listening.
Or wait, no. Or is it his former studio? People who were involved in Payday 2, basically, have signed a long-term agreement to create a official Walking Dead co-op game. It's not due out till, 2016, I think?
Yeah, it's got a while.
We have a logo.
Literally, it's a screen.
How much would it suck if like the Walking Dead fire has died down by then and they're just putting out like, hey guys, come play our game. Anyone? No one cares. That's a big risk. If you're like, that'd be like someone starting a I don't know, starting a well, it actually is. They're starting a video game for a TV show. You don't know if the show's going to be around. You don't know if people will still like it. Like, that's a big risk for a studio.
Yep.
But, I don't know.
It has a lot of potential, seeing nothing exists that we know of for it yet. But if anybody could do a Walking Dead co-op game right, I would bet on this studio, Overkill Software.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be cool. All right.
Oh, I remember the name of the game, Dying Light.
Okay. I've heard about that.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah,
watched the
Dying
trailer.
Light.
No, I haven't. What's it steal?
It looks probably more in the vein of like Left 4 Dead, like that kind of like more arcadey.
It's like
But
a
it looks really good.
kind of Dead Island-ish too, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's a sort of open world-ish game, but the zombies are more powerful at night, and they can like parkour at night.
Everything's
have
more
to-
powerful at night.
I don't even know what that means.
I was going to let that sit out there for a while.
Well, now it's awkward, guys.
Give that joke some settle time.
I think Dying Light's actually a bit hard to describe, but check out the trailer. It's pretty unique looking.
Okay.
I'm pasting it in the chat
Cool.
if you want to check it out.
All right, so last news item. What's the deal with No Man's Sky?
Okay, so the two games that really even had me looking at consoles a little bit lustily out of the corner of my eye were Metal Gear Solid and No Man's Sky. Have you guys heard of No Man's Sky?
I saw the stuff at E3 where they showed
I
it
saw
off.
the E3 like little few minute preview of it.
It's beautiful.
I really like how the lead designer described how his team started out wanting to work on this game. He's like, when you're a kid and games were still pretty crappy looking, when he was a younger playing earlier consoles, and you're playing these games and your imagination is filling all the gaps, but you're going on these adventures and you're thinking like, man, like I can't wait to just explore things. And like he loved that discovery part of games. So what they're creating is basically a universe exploration simulator. It's going to create a galaxy, and you start on some random planet, and there's like other players out there, but you guys could be like across the galaxy from each other. And James, if I mess this up, feel free to cut in, because I know you and Joel have been following this pretty closely.
I'll cut you if you mess it up. Don't worry.
Oh, that too, actually. Cut in and then cut me later. So basically, you just go out and explore the galaxy, and every planet is like randomly generated with like unique vegetation and animals, and you can like name the planets that you discover, and you just fly around the universe discovering things. From what I understand, it's like SimCity universe, but with more of the exploration part. That's a terrible explanation.
That does not make me excited.
The cutting is coming, Dave. Don't worry.
I started off strong and just kind of tapered off there at the end. But that was a long time, very heavily implied to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Sony has tossed a bunch of money at the game, but it just came out this week that it is coming to PC. So there's, between GTA 5, Metal Gear Solid, and this game, that's all of the exclusives that I was even eyeing. So I'm good to go now. But this game in particular, like, it sounds like a fun game just to relax, just explore and just, like, it's a different use of the medium, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Could be very exciting, and it looks really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Right now, all my space game love is being directed towards Star Citizen, which I really hope just makes all my dreams come true. And so far, it's been pretty dang fun. But it's gonna be a long time before it actually comes out, so who knows? But
they seem to be pretty good at dropping like vertical slice tastes of what they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Little packages.
All right. That's the news. It's now time for Mail Time. You too can be a part of Mail Time by writing in to casualshenanigans@gmail.com, or by tweeting at us, or any other method of communicating with us.
Show up at our houses. But don't.
That's also fine.
Let's not say that.
All right. Okay, so we have 2 bits of mail. First bit of mail comes from Ripper Norton, a frequent listener of the CS podcast here. Ripper Norton, and I've asked before about PC gaming, but I wanted to ask another question. Sorry about that. Do you guys recommend buying the parts to build a gaming PC and building it, or buying a pre-built one? I've never had one, but I want a PC gaming rig, yet I don't know what the best way of going about it is. If you guys are doing a podcast tomorrow, I'd love your feedback about which one you all prefer, pre-built or custom. Thanks so much. I look forward to your response in the podcast tomorrow. Well, I think we could all agree we prefer custom-built ones. But the question here is not which you prefer, it's which you can do.
Yeah.
If you've never built a computer and you don't know anyone who's ever built a computer, you might be able to do it if you're pretty tech savvy and you can follow directions to the T, because there's tons of helpful guides online. But if you've never done any of that before, you are probably looking at a world of hurt. You could get into it by like buying a cheapish desktop and then just replacing the video card, maybe. Like, I don't know. There's not many intermediary steps between building your own and just buying a pre-built gaming computer. It really depends on your budget. But yeah, pre-built or building yourself is definitely better but you may not have an option. So, if you're pretty tech savvy, you could definitely do it. There are lots of great guides online. I built my first one after I'd only swapped out hard drives and memory before. I'd never done anything else. I just followed the directions. There were a few little issues, but I was able to get it all figured out. So you can probably do the same thing.
And it's gotten so much easier compared to even just 5 years ago.
Especially things with PC Part Picker, which won't let you pick incompatible parts. That's pretty awesome. You just need to know everything that you need to have. So if you need help picking out a build, we can definitely do it. But my recommendation would be, for the smoothest experience, find someone you know who has built computers before.
Yeah.
And then
I'm an idiot, and I sort of did it, but Jeremiah's hands were... It was right beside me, kind of. We were recreating the clay scene from Ghost. Basically.
I thought we were recreating that old painting of Jesus holding the guy, who's collapsed. It's kind of like that, but
the guy who nailed him to the cross.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm holding collapsed Mark, who's just holding a 780 Ti in his hands. He swooned because he took it out of its package, and then just beheld the magnificence of the heatsink.
It's so big.
Boy, Blinky, I do enjoy the building part of building PCs. At my old job, I got to build them every once in a while for work. I think my best day at work ever, working that job, was when lightning knocked out a couple of our computers and the insurance check came, and I got to build some brand new ones with a pretty good budget. And the stack was about 6 feet tall of computer parts that showed up. I was like, this computer is going to have nothing but solid state. It had multiple solid state hard drives. Everything was so overkill. It was glorious. That was a good day. Pierre Gasloth. We're going to go look at her build. What does she say? She's looking to buy more storage, but she's concerned about buying an internal drive that makes a lot of heat. What are you worried about? What do you guys suggest for additional internal storage? I would not worry about heat from an internal drive at all. Has that ever been an issue for you, Dave?
They run it 40 degrees Celsius with no extra cooling. As long as your case has a good airflow, your drive should be fine.
Honestly, I don't even know if you need that good airflow. I have a stack of 4 terabyte drives running right on top of each other with a very slow fan pulling air across them, and I've never had a single issue with the 2 terabytes before.
You have a fan, though.
I do have a fan, but I've had them in cases before where it was just an exhaust fan pulling through.
That will shorten the life of the hard drives. You do have to
probably,
have airflow.
But when's the last time you kept a hard drive till it actually died? I'm usually upgrading every 3 or 4 years anyway, just for bigger ones. So if you plan on keeping this hard drive for the next 10 years, yeah, it might shorten the life of it. But,
or if you appreciate your data.
But you could just buy a 5400 RPM drive. It'll run a lot cooler. The Western Digital green drives, my green 4 terabyte, I hit write speeds well over 120 megabytes per second on a pretty regular basis. So, the seek speed's not amazing, but the performance is actually really good. You could get a low power drive and probably be totally fine. It's up to you, but that's probably what I do. So, all right. We're going to go to the last bit of mail, which is from... I'm clicking on the thing and Thunderbird's not bringing it up. Okay, One Call System writes in and says, "What's up, you filthy podcast hosters? What's up?" Then he writes about 500 words we're going to skim. No offense, One Call. It's just we don't, I can't read through the entire thing, but
we still have the main topic to get to, actually, tonight. Yeah. Oh, man, we're a little prepared tonight.
All right, says, long-time listener, first-time writer. In fact, I was the first one to write a review on iTunes where you shouted out my username on the show and was going to give me Mass Effect, but I already had the game, so I said, nah. Just wanted to show the love and Warm Honey. I don't know what Warm Honey's a reference to, but thank you for your iTunes review. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your Warm Honey.
Sure. James, thanks you for the Warm
coffee.
Honey. Look at his teddy bear face. He's like, Warm Honey. James likey.
Classic James.
All right, he said, "I'm pissed because you're having another event and I can't join you because my motherboard crapped out on me." Yeah. So he said, "How it started, I'm just skimming a little bit. Don't worry, One Call. I've read the entire email. I'm just skimming for the listeners to give them the pertinent information. My screen started freezing when I got home from work one day. I restarted the computer. Nothing happened. I tried everything to get it started. Dead in the water. Checked the power supply. The power supply appears to be fine. The power button appears to be broken on the case. So I pretty much need a new case or a new power button. He's leaning towards a new case because it's impossible to reach the button. And the only other problem could be the motherboard. And he feels like the motherboard is the issue because the computer hung up before he shut it down. So anyway, I'll use most of the old stuff I got on here, but I need to ask you guys, what should I upgrade? The motherboard is a must, obviously, but maybe the video card too? I'm going to cut in right here. I don't think the motherboard's a must, obviously. You haven't properly diagnosed your computer, so I don't feel like you can say that you know for sure whether or not the motherboard's broken. If you've broken the power button, if you can solder, it's probably fixable. If you can't solder, cases are cheap, get another case. But I don't know if I would replace the motherboard immediately unless you just want to, but we're going to go through the rest of your stuff anyway and answer the rest of your question. Here is his current build. A Corsair 750 watt power supply, a Radeon 6950, a quad-core i7, that's all he can remember about his CPU, a Cooler Master fan of some kind, he can't remember. He said it's a big hulking thing, kind of seems legit. 8 gigs of DDR3, a solid-state Samsung Evo 840, and then 8 other hard drives for all of his storage. An Asus P7 P55 DE Pro motherboard, and then M Audio sound card, Windows 7 Pro, a Cooler Master case. It says for his motherboard, he needs lots of serial ports for his hard drives and prefers lots of space.
Yeah.
And his budget is no more than $500 to replace the motherboard, new case, and maybe a new video card. Okay. First things first, you don't know that you need a new motherboard. You might need it, or your computer might have just locked up and you need to properly diagnose it. But if you want to replace the motherboard, you do not need to replace your quad-core i7, almost guaranteedly. If you have a quad-core i7, it's probably still fine. Overclock it if you haven't. You probably can overclock if you have that giant Cooler Master fan. If you need lots of serial ports, that's because you're using hard drives that are too old. If you have 8 hard drives that are using serial ports, or at least some of them are using serial ports, they're probably smaller hard drives, so use part of your budget to buy a 2 terabyte drive and put all of them on it, and, you know...
I hope he meant SATA, I really do.
He said serial ports. So if you need SATA, good news, most hard drives have tons of SATA ports. Could you...
If he has a serial port? If he has a hard drive running on a serial port?
Did they make any i7 motherboards that had serial ports?
I had not seen a serial port since, like, 2007.
Yeah. Well, let's assume for now
maybe he just meant serial ATA.
Maybe. Okay. Well, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Please write back into us if you need if you need to clarify anything. Your CPU is probably totally fine unless the CPU was the thing that broke, but we have no real reason to believe that. I'd say your first thing is buy a new case, put everything into it. That's going to be a ton of work, but then you'll know if it was just your power button. And just taking everything out of your case and reseating it and cleaning it off and putting it in a new one could potentially fix whatever problem you had. If it's still not working and you feel like it's the motherboard, and again, from the information you've given me, I'm not 100% sure on that, then if you want to replace your motherboard, get a motherboard that's compatible with your i7. You're going to have to figure out what type of i7 it is, but when you move it to the new case, you could pull off your CPU fan and read the top of the processor. You can't get your computer on to use...
What is it doing when he pushes the power button?
Well, his power button appears to be broken, so nothing currently, but he got home one day and it was locked up. It was frozen, and he tried to restart it, and he couldn't get it to restart back up. So it very well could be the motherboard.
Wait, how did he get it to try to get it to start back up? Like, he literally just can't get any power to it?
He couldn't get any power to it, but he tested his power supply to make sure the power supply was feeding power, and the power supply was. So he was able to boot up some fans and stuff off the power supply. So it's something else preventing the computer from booting. So the most likely thing is probably the motherboard.
His motherboard may have a power button on the board hidden somewhere too to
Possibly.
boot it without using the power button on the case.
Well, even if it doesn't have that, you can just jump the headers that connect to your power button. Like if you trace your power button wire, it's plugged into 2 little pins on the case.
Yes.
Stick something electrically conducive between those 2 pins, and you'll jump it. And it'll
like your teeth.
Paper clips work well, screwdrivers, things like that. But I feel like he's probably already tried that because he knew how to jump his power supply to start fans. So, but if you haven't, try that. If it still won't start, it's probably your motherboard.
The chat's also suggesting maybe like pulling the BIOS, like the battery, or
you can pull the battery out. But if it's not even posting, it probably isn't the BIOS.
Right.
But the CMOS battery could be dead.
That's true. Very low chance of that happening, but it's a watch battery. It's pretty cheap to replace. You can try that. Not a bad thing to try, especially if you have like a first gen i7, then it can be a pretty old battery. I've never heard of that happening, but I'm sure it has.
In most cases, a computer with a dead CMOS battery should still post, but the clock would just reset every time it lost power. Like my laptop has a dead CMOS battery, and it functions fine.
Right.
But the time's just all off. So that's not likely, but it's a possible, you know.
But so let's assume all of that stuff, like let's assume he's correct about all of this, and he really needs a motherboard and a new case and maybe a new video card. New case, I'll make it easy for you. Corsair 200R, I'm using it. I've used it in 5 or 6 builds. It is the best case you can get for 40 or 50 bucks, depending on your budget. Mark, are we using that case for you too?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great case, isn't it? Or it's a super boring case, but I mean, you can put...
And if you like nice things, go up to $100 and get the Corsair C70. But either way, Corsair equals good things.
The 200R is a very nice case, though. That's the thing.
It is.
The only bad thing about it is you have 8 hard drives. It only has 4 bays. It has 4 hard drive bays and then 4 SSD bays. I still maintain part of your budget should go to a hard drive to replace some of these hard drives.
Have you considered a RAID?
I wouldn't even do that. I would just like, seems like one 4 terabyte drive fixes this dude's problem with the hard drives. But, you know, anyway, right back to us about the hard drives. I'm curious what these 8 hard drives are and what your capacities are. But just, yeah, go on PC Part Picker, pick your CPU once you figure out what type it is. Again, you can just pull off your fan and clean off the top of your CPU with a nail polish remover. Is probably the easiest thing you're going to find that will clean off the paste. Be very careful. You don't pour it on it. You dab it onto something and then clean it off. But you should be able to read the name of your processor. Put that into PC Part Picker, and then it'll show you all the motherboards compatible with it, and then just pick a motherboard that suits your needs. You'll want to spend probably at least $100 to get one that's not totally crap. I would look at an Asus. Asus is where I would start with motherboard brands, and ASRock makes good, cheaper stuff. And then Gigabyte's decent, but Asus is pretty much a guarantee that's going to be a pretty decent board. And then, so yeah, Corsair 200R, Asus motherboard. 6950 is not a terrible video card. If you let us know what your budget is after deciding what you want to buy for these things, then we'll tell you what to get. I'm going to guess that a good upgrade will be like an R280X or maybe a GTX 760 or maybe a 770. Because you could get a new motherboard and a new case for $150 to $200 pretty easily. And that would leave you $300 for a video card. You don't have to spend that much, but you could. So do you guys have any more advice for one call?
I think we covered all of it.
All right. Well, if you have any other questions, you need follow up, please write back into us.
Don't take it to Geek Squad.
Yes. Don't. If you have a good independent computer shop, take it there. But this sounds like something, you sound like you know what you're doing decently. So you can probably diagnose this yourself. But I would definitely start with the case just to be sure. Because yes, it's kind of inconvenient if you have to then order a motherboard, but you know, it would suck to order the motherboard.
He has to pretty much order a new case anyway, right?
Well, he's definitely getting a new case unless he can solder. So I would get the new case and make sure it's not the power button issue, but I would also jump your motherboard first because that'll bypass the power button. So I guess, no, you don't need to do the new case first. Jump your motherboard header, see if it's the power button or if it's the motherboard, and then you should be good to go. Because even if other stuff was dead, if you jump the header on the motherboard, if it's getting power, it will at least start spinning fans. Even if the CPU's dead, you believe you can spin fans. So that's how we'd go. All right. It's now time for our main topic. It's been a couple weeks since we've had a main topic. Just because we've had tons of news and stuff. But this was a little bit of a light news week. It only took us an hour. So
yeah.
Our main topic is probably, for PC gamers, the, how would you describe it? The most traumatic announcement of Gamescom. I'm just basing it off of other people's reactions. I mean, what do you think, Dave? The announcement, in case you don't know somehow and didn't read like the episode title, DayZ is coming to the PS4. Dave, can you walk us through the basics of the announcement?
Yeah, Dean Hall had a very brief Gamescom speech from the stage during the Sony press conference, actually. And he later talked on Reddit about how awesome it was to actually get up on Sony's stage and talk about PC. Because, did you see this part, James? Because my stream cut out when he was talking about this part, and I missed a good bit of it. What he basically said was how awesome it was to be able to do this crazy idea that no company would have ever supported, this permadeath open world survival game. Like, no player is going to want to play that. He prototyped it on PC, on this super clunky, super hardcore simulator game that had sold like 250,000 copies over 4 years. And here he is on Sony's stage saying that thanks to PC, he's able to now be making it into an actual game, and it's coming to PS4, all thanks to all this stuff on PC. Like, he got to say that from the stage. And he also went into further detail later on Reddit about how a lot of the new stuff that we're getting on PC as a trickle-down effect from this huge push to get it to PlayStation, we're getting things like the DirectX 11 renderer, and Bohemia greenlit that because they wanted to have that ready to go for the push to console. If it was just PC sales, that might have still happened, but it wouldn't be happening yet, probably. Like, it wouldn't be this like huge task that they're all working on right now.
Well, that and the optimization push is something that is
Now,
a direct result.
I imagine PC gamers were super happy that everyone else is going to get to play this game they've been playing for 2 years, and everyone handled it very maturely, correct?
Honestly, I was honestly just disgusted by a lot of people's reactions. I'm a subscriber on Reddit to r/PC Master Race. It's a fun subreddit all about PC gaming. It's fun to see the dumb things that people post on YouTube about how the human eye can't see past 24 frames per second and stuff like that. Like, I enjoy laughing at that. But man, people, some very ignorant PC gamers.
The stupid map was rolled out. Let's just put it out there. Don't dance around it, Dave. Hit it hard.
They took it as like this personal slight from Dean Hall as a betrayal of the PC Master Race, and I could not stop rolling my eyes. I mean, this guy, he's been an ARMA modder for like 10 years. Like, if you can go out and look at Dean Hall's like Cessna aircraft mods for ARMA 1 and 2 and stuff like that. In Bohemia as a studio, when you think like PC games, Bohemia is one of those studios that cranks out some very PC-centric games.
Very PC games. The graphics are gorgeous. Your computer can't run it. There's a lot of issues, but the mods are great.
Exactly. It's the quintessential like libertarian PC gaming experience.
Anarchy!
And for them to just instantly assume that, like, oh, Dean Hall is a sellout, and he's right up there with Ubisoft and Watch Dogs. Like, isn't it a little early to be calling that? And
what's wrong with being a sellout? Money is fantastic. If you want to finish your game, having lots of money is a good way to do that.
Yeah, I was just really, I came very close to unsubscribing from r/PC Master Race, but I stayed for the Gabe Newell memes.
The easiest way, I think, to make the argument is, if you want other games that come to consoles that look cool, if you want them to come to the PC because you want to play them, you should want all the cool PC games to go to the consoles. Now, it is reasonable for a PC gamer to complain when they get a crappy version of the game because like it's dumbed down to go on the PC or something because it was developed first on a console. That's a reasonable thing to complain about because you're getting a crappy version of the game that everyone else is enjoying. You're not entitled to a beautifully running game. It's not like you deserve it, but it still sucks and you can complain about that. But if something's developed first on the PC, you're getting the best experience. Why do you care if other people get to play it? You should be happy they get to play it, because if other markets get to play it and enjoy it, then that increases the chance that the game will have better support. It'll be made with a better budget. You have a better chance of getting another one. Like, everything becomes better for you. Except in the case of Crysis, now that I'm thinking about it. That series went downhill. But for the most part, dang it. And that kind of I shouldn't have mentioned that while I was making my point.
I got this.
Tag.
There is a legitimate concern here. DICE, for both Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, loved parading the fact, like, guys, PC is our lead platform. PC is the focus. When in reality, what they were saying is, yeah, we started building the game on PC, and 6 months into official development of X game, Battlefield 3 or 4, we then split branches, and we were working on all of them at the same time. So, yeah, you got a lot of console features. That is the incorrect way to do development. I'm going to try to bring up one of Dean's quotes here. There was a post on Reddit where someone actually said, like, I'm okay with PlayStation getting it. That's fine. You know, whatever. What I'm worried about is the PC version, which at this point is unfinished, and is still in the development process, will it be dumbed down along the way in preparation for this console version? And Dean said, yes, that is what you need to be asking. That is the correct question. Like, will it get dumbed down? And he said, hold us to that. Like,
Dean made another giant mistake when he was talking about that too. He needs to hire a PR person. He gave way too definite an issue, because one of the first comments on Reddit was someone saying, okay, so for this to run on the PS4 and reach the vision you have for it, are you saying that you can have like a 100 to 200% increase in players, a 100 to 200% increase in zombies, and a very smooth frame rate, including in cities with all the new graphics features? And Dean said, yes, absolutely. That's all possible with optimization. And I went, oh no, because it hasn't happened yet. And Bohemia, to this date has not made a game ever that ran that smoothly. And it puts more pressure on them to make a well optimized game because it's going to be on the PS4. But that doesn't mean console games are always well optimized. A lot of them run like crap too. Like, that increases the chances that they're going to hit a 30 FPS target for DayZ and be like, yeah, that looks great, you know?
I actually see both sides of that fence, Jeremiah. Bohemia definitely has a very rough history for optimization, but if there's going to be one game in their history that does finally hit that 60 FPS smooth mark, I think DayZ will be it, just because there's so much focus
60?
on...
Yeah.
You think it's going to hit 60?
We can already run
I
60.
so.
We can already hit 60 FPS in a lot of the woods and stuff. We know the game is capable of it if they can get it optimized for the busier sections.
And that's the thing, is that even in ARMA 3, the new renderer wasn't the biggest priority in the game. They were doing so much more outside of the renderer. That was only a small segment of the game. This DirectX 11 renderer has the potential to finally be the most optimized Bohemia game. Their track record says don't be super excited about this yet, but if I were to pick from Bohemia's entire library of games, one game that could do it, I think DayZ could be the one.
It could be, and something that would make me excited is for a PS4 multiplayer game to run smoothly, any console game, multiplayer game to run smoothly, most of the work has to be done by the server. Like, it pretty much has to be all server. So, if they get to that point with DayZ, the servers will be really awesome, and that should mean the range of computers that can play DayZ well should be much better than it is now. So that is exciting. Most PCs that play DayZ are faster than most PS4 or all PS4s. So that is exciting, because it theoretically more people should be able to play it. I mean, that's should be the takeaway, but we don't really know. And you should never complain about games going out to other people as long as your experience isn't being dumbed down. That's
the question.
If they cap DayZ at the knees to make it run on the PS4, we'll be complaining. We'll be on the front lines complaining, and you should be too. But
and Dean knows that. He knows already that that's going to happen.
It's not like people don't complain about everything he does now, the poor guy.
Oh, true.
Is the complaining really going to get worse? But
oh, dude, his Twitter feed. I should have pulled my comments of the week from his Twitter feed. We would have had like an hour-long segment.
Yeah, but
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, James, I want to hear what you think. You play a lot more consoles than me and Jeremiah.
I think DayZ is probably one of the one games that and Payday 2. Even though I own it for the console, I play it because you guys play it. And the ability to actually still be able to play, but playing from my couch and playing maybe with the controller. I don't think it's the type of game that's like that twitchy where I need mouse and keyboard.
Right.
I'm pretty excited about that, number one. Number two, I think the fact that my gut tells me that since Sony's behind it, they've set a bar for them that they have to reach. Not that Sony's never allowed crappy games on their console, but for them to let them come out on stage and to
that's a big deal.
Create that expectation that this is going to be, we're going to take it as seriously as they do. I don't know. I think it could convince them to do things that they need to do, and plus, the interface is going to get the facelift that it definitely needs.
Yeah, someone actually asked that same question, James, on Reddit. They said, okay, so you guys obviously have all this optimization to do for PlayStation. Is PC going to see that same push for optimization? And his reply was just absolutely. I mean, you're already doing that optimization work, and with the new consoles being x86 based, the hardware is so similar, everybody wins here. Go ahead,
theoretically.
Yeah. Best case scenario, everybody
Now,
wins a lot.
do you find it odd that they're like Sony obviously is putting a lot of weight behind this, or a decent amount of weight behind it, because they feature it during one of their conferences, and they're probably, I'm guessing, kicking Bohemia some money to help with the development.
No, they're not. Actually,
they're
the
not.
answer to that question too. Sony is not involved in the development process at all.
Okay, because I find it. They also have H1Z1. That's Sony Online Entertainment. Do you
Yes.
think this is them hedging their bets? Like, if you're on the H1Z1 team, does this make you feel better or worse?
They're cutting 2 slices of the pie just in case.
Right. Like, that's. I mean, how would you feel if you were on the H1Z1 team?
And Mark, we can't see if you're about to chime in, so just dive in at any time.
I think
I
this
was
is
lighting a pumpkin scented candle.
nice. It's getting close to fall. I think they probably knew about this a long time ago. Not that they're even the same really division. I mean, who knows what kind of communication online entertainment actually has with the people that make these deals. But I mean, they've been talking about going to console for what, over a year now.
They've been saying they'd like to, but they haven't.
But they've been having meetings with.
I'm sure they've been having meetings.
The company.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
they said, "Oh, sorry guys, I know you guys were really hard into H1Z1, but we just yesterday came up with this deal." I'm sure they knew it was there. I mean, worst case, I think H1Z1 will probably come out first.
The thing that makes me feel weird about it is, I'm just from the perspective of an H1Z1 dev, is you got to assume when they started development on H1Z1, they probably said, "Hey guys, see that mod DayZ that's like blowing up all over the internet? Let's do that for the PlayStation 4, but better. Here's 200 guys and $50 million. Get to work." You know, it's probably not exactly those numbers, but get going. And they're like, "Guys, we're going to beat DayZ at their own game." I mean, they had to be pretty competitive thinking about it. And then how would it make you feel to, like, 2 years into development, they say, "Yeah, we're going to go ahead and bring DayZ to your platform." I don't know. Like, I don't think they're shuttering H1Z1 or anything. Obviously, they're not doing that. They're still going to make it. But it would make me feel a little odd because the games seem really similar.
Actually, I was hoping Joel was going to be here so I could throw this question at him. I'm still kind of excited to see H1Z1. I think I am going to pay for that early access. But I wanted to throw this question at Joel. Joel, what features does H1Z1 have? Like, not a stable frame rate or working zombies, but like from a features list that DayZ does
Coffee?
not have.
Can we establish
coffee?
I would say the zombies and the stable frame rate are pretty good features.
That's not like a bullet point feature, though. That's just a
It's like a
factor.
major feature. Like, honestly, that makes me really excited.
I'm talking about from a gameplay design perspective.
Yeah,
when
lots
you're
of
on the
zombies. Lots of zombies.
Okay, so zombie numbers. That's a feature.
Yes. A good,
Okay.
well, zombies that seem to work pretty well in the preview videos we've seen. The
I'm not talking
H1Z1
about
zombie.
functionality. I'm talking about just features, though.
I'm talking about the list, okay? Have you seen the number of hats DayZ has?
It's Team Fortress 2, the MMO. I was just curious. Like, it seems very, very similar. Like you said, I wonder how they're feeling right now.
Apparently, you can rent private servers.
So, Mark, you
can in DayZ too.
would I be correct in saying that you are not as pumped on your PS4 as you were when you bought it?
I don't really think I was pumped on it when I bought it. It was just like, I don't know what I want for Christmas. I just get PS4 because maybe there'll be something on it that I like someday. I mean, there wasn't anything coming out for it when I bought it I was excited about, so it was just, I'll get one.
Wow, you might not have been the best person to ask this question.
PS3.
I thought you were a little more excited than that, but
Nope.
well, my
I
question
was excited to get Super Mario 3D World. I really was.
what I was going to ask was, would you be at all tempted, if you didn't play DayZ on the PC already, would you be at all tempted to try it on your PS4? Or does that not sound like the type of game you bought your PS4 to play?
PS4 4?
Yeah,
Is that what you were going to say?
I was trying to avoid it.
Yeah. I guess I feel like maybe the community may be more around my intelligence level, actually.
This is our army.
Are you? Is this question basically asking me, like, just for shits and giggles, will you buy a copy of DayZ so we can see what it's like?
No, because Joel's going to do that almost
I'll buy
guaranteedly.
a PS4 too.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
people who will do that. But no, you mostly play on the PC, but you have a PS4, so that's why I'm curious. like James probably leans more console, and then some PC. You're probably more PC, some console. So, what would your perspective be on? Is this something you want to play on the PS4, or do you still not really care?
I don't really care.
Okay, cool.
I mean, if there's like some substantial reason why it would be any better, and it would be worth me paying for it again, maybe. If everyone else that was going to play it, you know, like if you and Dave bought a PS4 and you wanted to play it on there, and I was like, okay, we're all playing it on there now.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, but no, I'm not.
But it's cross-platform, right? I mean,
Cross-platform play? I doubt it.
I hope.
I mean, almost no games have ever been cross-platform play, so I sincerely doubt it would be. It'd be cool if it was. That's definitely a time where you want to be playing against console people.
Behold the reaping.
Hey guys, this game doesn't have auto aim or aim assist.
Yeah, I want to see Joel make like an 800-meter shot with a...
It says it'll allow cross-platform play.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I would get it for PS4, because I can still play with you guys.
Actually,
maybe,
yeah, that would
throw up TeamSpeak on my laptop and still play.
that would be the best of both worlds then, because you could you could be on TeamSpeak with us, or just get like a wireless headset and sit out. Oh, but how are you going to listen? Well, you'd have to figure that out. But you could definitely make it work. Why isn't there a TeamSpeak app for consoles? That seems like something that should have happened a long time ago.
Sit on my couch and actually look at my television, then looking behind my shoulder every once in a while.
You could
and
do
being
that.
like, "Oh, it's so
You could do
nice."
that with like 2 USB extension cables, Mark.
I'm not going through this again.
So this actually, I got into a 10-minute argument with Joel when we were leaving work. Like, he stopped by my desk, and the last thing he says before he leaves is, he just sighs real big, and he's like, "Man, I can't wait to get DayZ on PlayStation 4. I'm like, Joel, you built a new computer 8 months ago. You own the game. You played it last week with us. You have a mouse and keyboard. You have what I'm sure is going to be the superior draw distance on PC. I'm like, why are you excited? Like, looking forward to the PS4 version of the game you can play right now. And he's like, well, I just want to play it on my couch right now. I'm like, you can do that too right now.
Steam home streaming, guys. It works really well. You can even use controllers. Look it up. It's so easy to set up, and it's free. Do it.
With DayZ.
Anything
Controllers in DayZ.
Controller support is disabled at the moment, actually.
Yeah,
It was
not
disabled
for
a few
DayZ,
months
I mean
ago.
in general. But yeah, DayZ right now is not a game you want to even try with a controller. You don't have enough buttons. You wouldn't be able to play. But
I understand what he's getting at. I mean, it is just the PS4, it boots super fast, and you can get into the game literally in a few seconds without having to launch Steam and stuff. I mean, so, this draw, you literally go get a drink in the kitchen, come back, and it's ready.
right.
For me, this is like an experience. You have to kind of build up to it. So I want that extra 30 seconds of boot time on Windows 8.
Guys,
so
I think he's talking about foreplay. I can't be sure.
I didn't want to use the word, but it's out there now.
He's straightening out his
Emotional
map.
actions, boot time.
He's straightening out his map on the wall. He's pouring his coffee. He's putting on his comfy slippers.
I light the candles off to the side. Actually, when I boot the game now, I just hear sexy sax in my head.
He's locking the dog outside.
Have you tried streaming DayZ in your house? Or
Me, James?
anybody?
I haven't
Yeah.
streamed DayZ. I've used Steam in-home streaming a couple times, though.
If you get a chance, check it out and see if it works.
Okay.
Because I'd be curious to know.
I've got
Since-
a
I mean,
wireless.
since
I've got a wireless keyboard. I could probably make that work. I'd have to I'd have to rig up a wireless mouse because the keyboard has a little touchpad on it, so I'm not playing DayZ with a touchpad. But yeah, I should be able to get to work. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how well it works. But
Okay.
I actually discovered James when John was over a few weeks ago. We were playing Watch Dogs on my computer, but on the set up in the living room. But my controller, dongle, the wireless one for the Xbox controller, kept disconnecting for some reason. I figured out that the range actually reaches from in here. So I literally just pick up my controller off my desk, turn it on, and walk in there to the couch and sit down. And I use the controller across the house to play games on the TV. It's so awesome.
I think I'm about maybe 10 feet too far from my wireless if I did that on my TV. Yeah. Just based on what they say the
your
range
house is too big, James. Mr. Suburbs. All right. So that is our main topic, guys.
Actually, can I end it with 2 quotes that I have saved up?
Sure, you can. You absolutely may do that.
I have 2 quotes directly from Dean Hall that answers 2 of those main questions that people had. And I say questions, what I mean is like baboon-like rants on Twitter. The first question is actually the legitimate one is, what's going to happen with the PC version that's not finished now that PlayStation is in development? And the answer to that is partially, this isn't the quote yet, but there is a separate team, part of that 160 people working on DayZ right now, total. Mm-hmm. There's a separate PlayStation team working on the PlayStation-specific stuff. That's separate. Dean said, I would be very upset if PC gets watered down, if only because there's absolutely no need for that to happen.
Wait a minute. Where's he going to get upset from? Back home? Working on a new project?
Ooh.
on his yacht, on a bed of money. He says, if we were developing this game from scratch and it was cross-platform, then what you describe here does often happen, like Skyrim. But we're doing it the opposite way. We're developing it on the PC first and the other platforms off to the side. And the last quote, and this actually talks about the performance patch too. Mm-hmm. Dean said, the way I see it, this is now a guarantee that we have to meet performance standards now. And it sees the PC leading, innovating with the refined result trickling down to console gamers. A win-win all around.
I don't know. Most console games certainly don't seem to indicate that you absolutely have to optimize the game and absolutely have to hit performance standards, because a lot of them cut a whole lot of corners to get the game out.
True, but it can only get better from here, I guess.
It should get better. I'm not trying to sound like... I'm not trying to sound like a wet blanket. I am excited about it, but coming to a console is by no means a guarantee the game's going to work well.
But apparently Bohemia has set that as like a requirement, is it has to run well.
Well, for them, I bet if they want to try to branch out their company, I mean, this is their chance to get it right. I mean, pick the one game that's put them actually on the map again.
Well, the game that Bohemia made that no one remembers because it came out 2 months after the DayZ mod launched in April, they launched Carrier Command in June or July 2012, which was their first cross-platform game. It sold horribly, but it was like basically just a experiment. Like, how do we make a cross-platform game? Because they had no experience in that area, and that was their first experiments in the real virtuality engine of trying to go cross-platform. And I'm sure that some of that team is now working on DayZ and bringing some of that experience that was kind of thrown away to DayZ. Can you imagine, like, it's like the first time in the 15-year history of your company that you're doing a console cross-platform game, and you're overshadowed by a mod from a game from 4 years ago that you made? That's got to be a little awkward.
I'm sure that went away really fast when they started selling. And selling, and selling, and selling.
When you started coming into work in the morning, like you unlock the door and you gotta like squeeze past the stacks of money, like, dang it, guys.
Yeah, everyone was like, guys, could you please stop being successful? The money sucks. Stop. No, please. Yeah.
Guys, there's no more room in the parking lot for all the Lamborghinis, okay?
Now, Dave, I have a question. What if there is console exclusive loot?
I will be seriously pissed. Like, personal affront level pissed.
Mark basically just pulling the pin out of a grenade and going, catch, Dave.
I'll kill you all.
Whoa, that was like a Bilbo Baggins moment there.
Sorry, I went to a dark place.
We have to remember that while the Chosen Generation did first receive the good news of Dean Hall, remember, console owners, you were simply grafted in. So, the good news is available to you now, but don't get too pompous. Okay? So there you go.
I still love, too, how very PC-centric Dean Hall is. Someone reposted his Twitter comment from, it was like January, like right after the alpha came out for PC. There was this one guy who was tweeting him, like every tweet he posted about DayZ, this one younger kid would respond like, is there going to be a PS4 version? Will there be a PS4 version like every day? And so finally, Dina posted like a patch note thing about a DayZ PC patch, and someone replied with, "Keep up the good work." And then like the kid replied to both of them saying, "Is there going to be a PS4 version?" And Dean replied and said, "Quiet console, or the adults are talking." Like I still love he just still has that like attitude where it's he's still very PC focused. He loves mods and Kerbal Space Program and all that good stuff. So if there's one developer that I would trust to not chop features off the game, it would be Bohemia at this point, with Dean still being there. If DICE were saying this, I'd be a lot more skeptical.
So I'm curious. He's pretty much done in a few months, right? Or is he going to maybe stay longer
even in March,
with the new direction?
What he said in March, though, James, wasn't that he would be leaving at the end of the year. He said, "I'm going to leave at the end of the year if the project doesn't need me anymore." But then he also said, like, at that same time, if they still need me, I'm going to stay on for longer. So I would bet that that's now becoming the I'm going to stay on longer.
I guarantee you that this won't be his last console game.
No,
I think
definitely
this is the opening relationship for him to start doing games for them.
I think Dean actually might be a big part of the push to do more early access, more indie, a little bit more risky stuff on consoles, maybe.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
We have Minecraft on consoles now, so the floodgates are opening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never know. I mean, I'm okay with any games coming to any platforms as long as they're good. And everyone else should be too. And if you're mad about it being ported to the PS4, then you have something fundamentally wrong in your life that doesn't allow you to be happy about things.
Yeah, I mean, really, guys, can you not be happy that other people are happy? Like, is that...
And we're not saying you guys. I think most of our listeners are probably pretty cool and not making those complaints. I haven't seen anyone in chat complaining about it. No. But you guys in general, meaning the internet.
The noise and the rabble.
All right. Our last thing before we head out tonight is Comment of the Week. I don't have an analogy for Dave this week. But this is the part of the podcast where Dave reads all the comments, finds one that usually it's not like the worst one, it's the one that just makes the least amount of sense, or it's obvious that the person had no idea what they were talking about when they wrote it. And Dave presents it so we can all laugh at collective stupidity, which is really one of the only things the internet's good for. So, Dave...
Actually, this week is not about laughing at internet stupidity. We have a special edition of the comments of the week this week. James, you know where this is going. Yes. This week, I'm going to be reading choice comments from the season launch of Season 2 of our DayZ Breaking Bad series.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good.
For those of you not familiar, last year we did a DayZ mod Breaking Bad series. We had done like 4 seasons of Survivor Diaries where we weren't quite playing heroes. We were just kind of playing neutral survivors. And that was like our main playstyle. We had like comparatively much fewer murders than like friendly encounters. But DayZ is a sandbox game, and we're like, we want to try out all the different experiences in sandbox. So let's like just flip the scales, go to like the worst kind of bandits imaginable, and do things just because we can. We're now doing that again for 5 weeks in DayZ Standalone. We have a half season going of Breaking Bad right now on both my channel, youtube.com/evilviking13, and youtube.com/germgaming. And some of you guys weren't exactly thrilled with the sudden shift of direction in our DayZ playstyle. So,
in other words, welcome new subscribers.
This one definitely made me laugh right here. It kind of sums up the reaction I was hoping for. I'm a little disgusted by what you did here, quite honestly. Wouldn't say this is quite as much fun to watch as your older friendly strategy. Then again, if you can't fight them, join them. Just a very simple comment. I hate this series. Just saying.
Thanks for watching. Like, rate, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out.
You should use that to plug Patreon.
Yeah, if you want the murdering to stop, give us more money. It's like a hostage situation. This one guy, after we murdered those 2 fresh spawns at the beginning, he's like, "Oh man, that's effed up. Was not expecting that from you. More, please." It's just, I love like this shock, like holy crap, followed by, yeah, do that again.
Oh, just wait.
Like this one was like just kind of kind of flat as far as enthusiasm goes. He's like, cheesy trolling. Not really a fan, but keep on keeping on. I love how we're kind of just like leading people by the hand gently into murder and mayhem. And what's so fun about these comments too is we had these exact same kind of comments in our first season when we took that left turn just for, a season of a different series where we broke bad, did all this horrible murder. Like, people were like freaking out at first, but by the end, it was hilarious to see like how everybody was like so excited for each new episode. Like, everybody was getting really into the murder and the robbery and the trickery. So those are the comments of the week.
They should watch us play the big bank heist we did on Payday 2. Where we murdered everybody.
Yeah, we released a video. A video came out for that.
It was pretty dark.
There was one guy who was like genuinely
so quickly
a bit
and so efficiently, though, James. I mean, the murdering was just happening, like body after body, and then 5 seconds later, there were no more.
It was actually kind of quite beautiful when it was all.
It was. It was like
quiet.
a dance. It was like a dance of James with his brass knuckles going.
Just beating them to death slowly.
All right, that is the podcast, guys. So before we go, we're going to whore out all of our stuff. As usual, you can always support us on Patreon if you want to. That pays for such things as the new TeamSpeak server and new mics. I promise new mics are coming for some people. Some people just need stands, and then some people just need to not lean back in their chairs every once in a while. I mean, maybe James, maybe just don't do that.
Sorry.
Now he sounds like a console gamer. This mic only has one volume, all of it.
Hey guys, I'm at the back building.
Can we get this process started?
What are you, retarded?
You guys want to join my clan?
Yes, you can follow us on
We're just trying to see the new town.
Spoilers.
ErieX says in chat, hey, my internet sucks. I can't watch the stream. Upload the YouTube version quick, please. Well, I'm going to try to, but I have to edit it. I'm a person.
We have an event tomorrow, too, so it could be a few days.
He can't hear you saying that, though.
Yeah, that's true. He had to go.
Quick question, Jeremiah. Are you going to live stream the event?
It's hard to live stream DayZ without it, like... I don't want to live stream because it's so much room for cheating.
And we're also going to be organizing, so there'll be like a lot of chatter. I think I'm going to just record it, guys, and do a video up probably middle of next week of the event. It'll be more organizing. It won't be 2 hours of like, all right, guys, everybody in the same server together. Oh, no, it's this server. No, the password's this. We'll skip all
look
that
at the
stuff.
chat. Who's going to take over Joel's 90 seconds?
Joel should be back soon, as far as we know. Joel... What's the best way to say it? Joel's been busy with Norman, just like he was last week.
That's not the best way to say it.
No, that was the best way to say it.
That's what you came up with? Joel's been real busy with Norman.
Yeah, it's the best way.
Maybe we could read some of the Joelisms since he's not here.
That just got me because at work today, Joel walked up to me. He's like, "Man, I have just really been pounding Norman this week," and then he just stopped and he's like, he just walked away. He's like, "Nope."
Wait, say that again. I gotta type it on the list.
It was something along the lines of like he just walked up. He's like, I'm just really tired, Dave. Like I've just been really pounding Norman this week, and like I just smiled a little bit. He just walked away. He knew, he knew what he'd say.
Well, come out tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Try to get there like 15 minutes early. We will be there early. Hop into the TeamSpeak. TeamSpeak is not in this chat, but we'll be tweeting it out, and you can go look at last week's podcast if you need the TeamSpeak server information. Be geared. Third-person stable servers. Please come ready to rumble. Thank you for watching the show. As always, follow us online, Casual Shenanigans, Germ Gaming, or Evil Viking on Twitter, and you can write in the show, casualshenanigans@gmail.com. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. Thank you, everyone in iTunes, for listening. And as always, stay casual.